In this video, we're going to discuss a very common type of quadratic word problem where somebody either launches a projectile or drops an object off a cliff. When you get this type of problem, you might be asked a few things. Some of the things you might be asked would either be to graph the path. We'll discuss these more in depth in separate videos, but you might be asked to graph the path of the projectile from, let's say, when it was launched at time t is equal to 0 until when it landed, whenever it lands. You're generally only going to be able to use the first quadrant because, let's say, the x-axis will represent time usually, time, let's say, in seconds, and the y-axis will represent the height, let's say, in feet. And neither time nor height, seconds and feet cannot be negative, so you'll only be able to use the first quadrant. Another thing you might be asked is the vertex. What is the vertex and what does it represent? In this case, the vertex is over here at y is equal to 5. That means that the maximum height that this projectile will reach is 5 feet. Another thing you might be asked is, when is the graph increasing or decreasing? So on this graph that I drew here, the red area is where it's increasing. It's increasing from time t is equal to 0 until it reaches its maximum height at time t is equal to 3. And then it starts decreasing from when it reaches its maximum height at t is equal to 3 until it lands at t is equal to 6. Another thing you might be asked is the domain and the range. The domain is all the x values or all the time values that this graph will take on. For this question, the domain is x is equal to 0 until x is equal to 6. And the range would be all of the height values, all of the y values that the function will take on. So for this graph, it would be the height goes from 0 feet until 5 feet. Something else you might be asked is, when does the projectile reach the ground? So in this graph over here, that would be over here at time t is equal to 6. And something else might be asked is, how far did the projectile fall from one point to another point, let's say here to here. And those are basically all the things that you'll be asked. We'll discuss each one of these in depth in future videos.